Death toll rises from Wednesday night accident near Kintampo. All passengers on board will be found ferry rescued as the vessel sinks, raising concerns once more about travel by boat on the Volta Lake. And Uganda at the polls and elections widely seen as the tightest in the East African country's history. Good evening, you're welcome to the main news on GBC24. My name is Suyoko Kakutre.
And I am Oferiwa Dako. Robert Frimpong-Manso is also here with us in the studio to do the sign language. In our first story, scores of people have died and more than 20 were injured when a cargo truck and the Metro Mass Transit bus were involved in a head-on collision on Wednesday night near Kintampo in the Bunahafo region. The injured persons are on admission at hospitals in the Bunahafo and Ashanti regions.
Earlier in the day, the Public Relations Officer of the Bunahafo Regional Police Command, ASP Christopher Teria, spoke to GBC24 about the accident which occurred despite numerous driver education on road safety campaigns in the country.
ASP, do we know the cause of the accident?
Well, for the cause, we will investigate, but our initial investigation is indicating that the Metro bus with the registration number ES7131B was actually making overtaking. Hence, he came into head-on collision with the truck that was loaded with tomato from the northern part of Ghana running to Asante region. 53 died, and then 23 survived the accident. And out of these 23, 15 are adults and 8 are children.
Okay, so moving forward, what is your outfit doing to make sure that nothing of this sort happens again?
Well, we are doing our best in the region, making sure that we maintain law and order, and we make the road safe for people to move on.
Over 50 students of the Buaponsem Senior High School escaped unhurt when their school bus caught fire, burning beyond recognition. The students were returning from a sporting activity at Asin Mansu when the incident occurred. It is still not clear what started the fire.
A ferry carrying passengers to Yeji on Wednesday went down in the Volta Lake. The pontoon was on its way from Makango when it sank. Sources say a nearby naval team received a distress message and went to the rescue. With the help of some other boats, all the passengers and crew were rescued. The GBC24 correspondent in the Tekwachi area, Mike Cartolevo, has this update on the situation.
I've been talking to the operators, and they have actually informed me that the vessel, as you could see, is a very old vessel. It's about 40 years now on the lake, and they have seen that it has developed force of water linkages, and it's not the first time. But currently, there are engineers from Akosombo that are working on the vessel that will seal the water leakage part. However, yesterday, when they are doing their last bound trip from Makango to Yeji at around 4 p.m., they realized that the water coming in is so much. They usually have pump on board to pump out the water. They tried pumping it out at the first time, but when they set off again, they realized that the water coming in is so much that is pulling the vessel down the lake. So they quickly made immediate landing at a place called Ausako near the Makango side of the Buang-Ahafo region.
But do we know how many people were on the ferry?
Not exactly, but people were around 80. According to the information I've gathered, there will be around 80 people, which normally this is not too much for this vessel to carry. In addition, they are carrying about 4 cargo trucks, 1 Kia truck, and presently about 4 private cars. Caught is stranded on the vessel as where it got stuck. Yes, and as the issue happened, they were quickly evacuated with outboard motorboats to wherever they are going. But for the loads on board, the navies also came there and some kept vigil overnight, and therefore they are around it.
Micah, now that the ferry has gone down, what are the other means of travel available to the people in the area?
Yes, as you can see, this is the one way that let people cross the border at this point. And these are most of the travel that comes from interiors, hinterlands, even some from Tamale to Salaga, and others pass this area, and once they cross to Yeji, they come on safely to their various places. So, admittedly, people traveling on this route will be stranded, especially vehicles. For human travelers, they can make do with the outboard motorboats that operate between the Yeji and Makango. But those who will be driving their vessel, then they may have to endure a stranded situation because there will be no vessel that can transport their vehicles, as you can see in the video, across the border at this point, at the moment.
Have investigations begun into the incident, and who are those involved?
Yes, the engineers that worked on this vessel are already there, working on it by means of welding. So they actually foresee the issue that the vessel is sinking, or the water has been coming into the vessel, and they are trying to weld it. But along the line, like the station got out of their hands, out of their control. So they already know that it's because of this weak body or metals of the vessel under that has caused the whole issue, and therefore they may, if anything again to be investigated, to see how they can get a stronger or a new vessel.
The National Association of Graduate Teachers has again called on the government to rectify the discrepancies in their salary arrears. On Thursday, the president of the association, Mr. Christian Adaipoku, threatened that its members will lay down their tools if by the end of February nothing has been done to rectify the situation.
Now the issues. 1. Non-payment of salary arrears to newly recruited teachers from 2013 to date. Teachers on promotion and others who were reinstated or re-engaged. Issue number 2. Non-payment of vehicle maintenance allowance to deserving teachers. Issue number 3. Outstanding transfer grant and travel and transport allowances. NAGRAT is unreservedly disappointed in the nonchalant and indifferent attitude of our Minister of Education towards teachers' issues. We must first solve the mystery of non-payment of arrears to the teachers. She must also first solve the problem of over-bloated class sizes, inadequate teaching and learning materials, poor state of educational infrastructure, overloaded curriculum with limited time to complete. Think God posturing of West Africa Examination Council, among others. We therefore challenge our Minister of Education to factor teacher welfare issues in her plans for education and to deal with this problem at hand. It was agreed at the meeting that Comptroller and Accountant General's Department should provide teacher unions with the list of teachers certified for payment vis-a-vis the list of teachers Comptroller and Accountant General's Department paid. Upon the directives of the Minister of Employment, Comptroller and Accountant General's Department promised to provide the list within 7 days. But as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, the lists are yet to reach us.
Moving on, the court has adjourned to the 29th of February the case of the 4 Yemenis who entered the country with fake French passports. This is because the investigator from the Bureau of National Investigation was indisposed.
The 4 Yemeni nationals were brought before an Accra Circuit Court for allegedly entering the country with fake French passports and visas. The 4 are Ismail Yahya Zay, Walid Ahmed Yahya, Gaffa Asa Yahya Ahmed, all students, and the last Asa Yahya Area, a businessman. They have been charged with forgery by the Circuit Court presided over by Justice Abuaje Tando. The Yemenis were arrested at the Kotoka International Airport in November last year by the BNI with different names in their French passport. When quizzed by the BNI, they mentioned one Abdullah Mohammed in Yemen as the one who provided them with a passport. The accused persons were on a transit to Turkey. The lawyer for the accused, Dominic Owusu-Setre, addressed the media.
We, the defense, we are trying to see whether we will change our plea. Because being in possession of forged documents is not such a serious matter as to let them be in custody for a time. They are in custody for almost 3 months now. They want to go home. No security connection has been established against them. What the prosecution is alleging is just an ordinary matter.
The lawyer said they would amend their case on the next sitting. The case has been adjourned to the 29th of February.
The government is appealing to traders at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange area to accept compensation and relocate to allow for construction to make good progress. The appeal by the Roads and Highways Minister Alhaji Inusaf Hussaini follows a deadlock over the amount to be paid as compensation to the traders as worked out by the Land Valuation Board, and this could affect the September deadline for completing the Nkrumah interchange.
The Kwame Nkrumah interchange is a flagship road project at the heart of the capital, which replaces a 1960 dual carriage circle which outlived its usefulness in the 1990s. Work is ahead of schedule with the Kojo Thompson and Sawam Road portion already open to traffic. The Nkrumah interchange project is a multi-purpose one that seeks to create free flow of urban traffic and its attendant problems. The inspection by the Roads and Highways Minister Alhaji Inusaf Hussaini and his team of engineers was a follow-up to a previous one. It was to acquaint themselves with the challenges that could possibly affect the progress of work to find solutions to them. The project engineers mentioned the continuous stay of traders at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle Market due to their outright rejection of a compensation package presented by the Land Valuation Board. The sector minister asked the traders, the Land Valuation Board and the Department of Urban Roads to go back to the negotiation table and make compromises, as any further delay could unduly affect the completion deadline.
All stakeholders must be satisfied, and the new plant station is a major stakeholder in this activity. And so if we have decided to build another station for them to actually organize and regulate the way traffic moves around this area, it's important that we put that intention into action and complete it on time.
As the main interchange nears completion, a few arterial roads are outstanding, and the market needs to be moved from its present location to enable contractors to work on the project site. Nto Bibini Nto, GBC24, Accra.
The founder of the All People's Congress, Mr. Hassan Ayariga, says the party is not an appendage of any political party and will stand on its feet to win the forthcoming general elections. Speaking on GBC24's Current Affairs program, Moment Tonight, Mr. Ayariga said the APC would never merge with any political party.
You have said that should you not be able to win 2016 elections, one thing is going to happen, that there will be a
power
runoff.
sharing.
Power sharing?
Yes.
Not just a runoff, but
yes,
power
there will
sharing.
be power sharing.
Really?
Tell me like I said, my party is not an opposition political party. And I will say it today, the APC is not going to be in opposition. Never at all. Never in the lives of APC. It's either we win power or we share power. So that means that if we are able to win, automatically, I am the president of this country. And it's very easy. When people decide to change government, it does not take months of campaign, years of campaign, before people make that change. A single second, one word, 1 hour before elections, people can decide to make that change, and change will be effected. The wind of change, I've told you, is blowing. There's going to be a political shape-up in this country, 2016.
So who are you going to merge with?
I'm telling you.
Yes.
We were going to win power. And if we don't win power, we're going to share power. And sharing power means that we will sit with you, look at your ideologies. If we're sharing power with any political party, let's say CPP or any other smaller parties or bigger parties, we are going to study your philosophy, study your ideology, study your policies for Ghana before we merge with you and we win power.
Vice President AmissahArthur has expressed the condolences of government and people of Ghana to the family of the late Member of Parliament for Abuakwa North, Joseph Boachi Dankwa Edu, and the New Patriotic Party. This was occasioned by the one-week funeral rites which was held in memory of the late MP, whose murder is a subject under investigation by the police.
9th February was that fateful day when Ghanaians woke up to the news of the death of Mr. Joseph Boachi Dankwa Edu, who was murdered in cold blood. Fortunately, a 20-year-old man suspected of carrying out the heinous crime is being held for further interrogation by the police. In line with Akan custom, the one-week funeral rites was held in Accra in memory of the late Member of Parliament for Abuakwa North, as well as plan his funeral. The spouse, Ivy Hayward Mills, and her family, and the immediate family of the late lawmaker were there, with the majority of the bereaved being NPP party fanatics from both Abuakwa North and South, who depended on the charitable JB Dankwa. The high point was the arrival of the Vice President AmissahArthur, who led a government delegation to mourn with the bereaved family. The ceremony was a dissolution point for partisan politics, as the leader of the opposition NPP, Nana Akufo-Addo, and Vice President AmissahArthur both grieved the loss of a promising politician. Just as the dignitaries sat to brood over the life and achievements of the slain lawmaker, a group of people suspected to be from Achim Abuakwa ran amok, chanting curses on any mighty hands that may be behind the killing of their Member of Parliament. Later, the Vice President AmissahArthur signed a book of condolence meant to chronicle individuals' experiences with the late JB. Indeed, though he lived a relatively short life, the late Member of Parliament positively touched the lives of many across the political divide. GBC24, Accra.
Business news follows shortly after this break. Please don't go away.
Hello again, let's do business, brought to you by SIC Live. My name is Morris Sogbete. Now, customers of DKM and other collapsed microfinance institutions in the country are likely to get a refund of their deposits by close of month. The head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amamfo, told GBC24 that once the appointed liquidator concludes his work, the process will begin to sell the property of the microfinance operations in question.
We have had a few institutions that are actually not licensed, creating a whole lot of problems, right? You have to deal with those institutions. I mean, these are regulatory issues we have to deal with. And I think we have taken the bold step of dealing with them. There may be one or two regulated ones. Those ones, how we deal with them is to ensure that what steps do we take to get the customers their money. And I think we have taken the appropriate steps. I mean, of course, everybody will talk about DKM. We are taking the steps. We have to go through a legal process of getting the company liquidated, get its assets sold, and then we will see how our customers will be reimbursed. Yeah. We are hoping that by the end of the month, if the arrangements that are going are well, we should have started the process of the liquidating. We have done the process, but it will take time. Following the process will take us about a month. You see, when you appoint a liquidator, he then takes over the assets, realize the assets, and then he will apportion the assets to the customers. Yes.
Let's go to the Eastern region now. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Dr. Ekospio Gabra, says the country's manufacturing sector has the potential to produce most of the goods imported into the country. He made the observation at the end of a tour of manufacturing industries in the Eastern region. Blue Skies, which is located at Dobro on the Accra and Sawam Highway, was visited by the sector minister and his entourage. Blue Skies, which produces fresh fruit juice for both local and international markets, has 8 production lines. Chocho Industries, the Palm Pharmaceuticals Company and Africa Cola Company were also visited by the minister. The tour ended at the intravenous infusion at Efijiase Kofredia in the New Jabi municipality. Intravenous is Ghana's largest manufacturer of intravenous infusion fluids, popularly called drip, and other pharmaceutical products. At the end of the 2-day tour, Dr. Ekospio Gabra shared his thought with GBC24.
We've been generally impressed with the wide variety of companies that we've visited, most of whom are in the food processing, or in this case, the processing of natural, vegetable or vegetation products. We've visited companies that are processing mangoes and pineapples and pawpaws, many of them which are for export. A couple of them are free zones companies, and therefore they are exporting most of our products overseas. Others are also selling in the West African market and in Ghana as well. And here at Chocho Products and Pharmacy, we've seen several assembly lines for producing a variety of teas, creams, soaps, using mostly local herbs and local products, but also some caustic soda products that are imported. We see that these companies are creating a lot of jobs. The company that we saw, Blue Skies, employs sometimes up to 2,000 to 3,000 at a time. Other companies we saw also employ 300 or 500 people. And I think all these companies are adding to job creation.
One issue that dominated the discussions with the minister during the tour was the cost of credit. They explained that the high cost of credit makes goods produced locally not competitive on both the local and international markets. To the interbank market, where the local currency today maintained its value against the pound sterling to trade at 3 cedis 88 pesos. It also maintained its value against the euro to sell at 4 cedis 32 pesos. The cedi appreciated by a peso to the dollar to close the day's trade at 3 cedis 89 pesos. And on the international commodities market, the price of light crude went up by 8 cents to sell at $31.54 per barrel. Gold depreciated by $9 to close the day's trade at $1,202 per ton. Cocoa also dropped a price by $8 to sell at $2,870. Business News was brought to you by SIC Live.
Welcome back. Let's do some health news now. The Ministry of Health says plans are far advanced to upgrade and construct new facilities in most regional hospitals in the country. Answering questions in Parliament on Thursday, the Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Victor Bampo, was optimistic that the upgrading of the regional hospitals would enhance healthcare delivery. Proposed amendments to the National Disaster Management Organization Bill of 2015 was also laid before the House.
The floor of Parliament was almost empty as at 10:15 a.m. when proceedings started. Parliamentarians who were present subjected the Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Victor Bampo, to issues in the health sector. The minister was asked to outline steps his outfit is taking to provide accommodation for the Health Directorate of the Tano South District. The upgrading of the Yamfo Health Center to a polyclinic, as well as changing the status of a health facility at Sampa in the German North District to a district hospital, were of interest to Madame Frida Kosua Prempe, MP for Tano South, and Mr. Stephen Siakwa, MP for German North.
We are going to provide funding for a substantive office in our 2017 budget, but we need to make temporary arrangements, and that is why we'll be consulting with the District Assembly before we can come out and know what we are doing before 2017.
The state of the proposed new regional hospital in the Eastern region, expected to have begun in 2013, was also discussed. The proposed regional hospital was captured in the 2013-2014 budget, but according to Kofi Ochiri Ejekum, MP for Fantiakwa South, nothing has been done. The minister said technical proposals have been submitted to the Ministry of Finance, but have not been approved yet. He indicated that acquisition of funds is a major challenge.
There is also the debate of whether the funding should be concessionary or commercial, and that is of overriding concern to the Ministry of Finance. So we are doing whatever we can to make sure that we get the proper financing to undertake this project.
The House also debated on the National Disaster Management Organization Bill, which is still at the consideration stage. Some members of the House have proposed a change in the name of the organization to the National Emergency Authority. This, according to the lawmakers, will ensure efficiency in NADMO's operations.
Throughout the period that National Disaster Management Organization has been in existence, it has managed disasters as well as emergencies. When we had the June 3rd disaster, that was an emergency situation. NADMO responded and did very well. And so, Mr. Speaker, we do not necessarily think that the name change is going to affect the provisions.
It is deemed appropriate to have an authority. What purpose would it serve? It would be a prodigal waste of the time of this House. If we went ahead merely on the pretext that because it comes from government, we should not tinker with it. In any event, Mr. Speaker, this would not be the first time. There is a precedent.
After a heated debate, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Ebo Batino-Drew, suggested that the matter be given more time for consideration. The House is still waiting for the outcome of a meeting between the Ghana Water Company Limited and the Parliamentary Select Committee on Water Resource Works and Housing on the issue of water shortage that has hit in Sawama Dredri. Sitting continues on Friday, the 19th of February.
Today, we bring you the 3 basic needs of the brain. They are oxygen, water, and glucose.
Oxygen is supplied to the brains through the blood. Any obstruction to the supply of blood to the brain affects the brain tissues. However, it is advisable to get regular aerobic exercise such as brisk walking, perform a series of deep breathing, and exercise if your work requires less physical activity. Glucose is the next important need of the brain after oxygen. The best source of glucose for the brain is from foods rich in vegetable fiber. Local foods that are good source of glucose include potatoes, cassava, whole grains, yam, local rice and others. Experts say refined sugar, flour and sweets are not good source of glucose for the brain. Water also keeps the nerve signals going, delivers nutrients from foods eaten to the brain and removes toxin. Enough water a day keeps the brain fueled, energized and oxygenated for optimum function. The brain needs the same nutrients that every cell in the body needs. It needs macronutrients like fat, protein, carbohydrates, vitamins and minerals. Experts have also advised that everybody take a look at the biggest pitfalls that might be keeping the brain from getting all the nutrition it needs.
This segment of news was proudly brought to you by FPAC Blues, your pain away. We'll be back with more news updates.
And in international news, President Yoweri Museveni says social media has been blocked in Uganda on the day of presidential election to stop people, quote, telling lies, unquote. Mr. Museveni, 71, is seeking to extend his 30-year rule in a race rightly seen as the tightest in the East African country's history. Voting has been cancelled at some polling stations in the capital, Kampala, after clashes with police. 7 opposition candidates are running against Mr. Museveni. A Kenyan airstrike has killed the intelligence chief of Somalia's militant Islamist group Al-Shabaab. Mohammed Karati and 10 other Al-Shabaab commanders were killed in a strike in southern Somalia on 8 February. Al-Shabaab has not yet commented on the claim that Karati has been killed. Kenya contributes more than 4,000 troops to the 22,000-strong AU force that is in Somalia, helping the UN-backed government battle Al-Shabaab, which is part of Al-Qaeda. That's it for international news. Sports is next.
Good evening by kindness of Lonat and Tornado Bitters. Let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. Takwa Bay's Media MIC are planning to beat defending champions Obuasi Ash Gold on Sunday. The two clash at the Obuasi Linkless Stadium in one of the opening matches in the Ghana Premier League. On Sunday, the Obuasi Linkless Stadium will come alive as the FA Cup and Super Cup winners, Media MIC, play defending champions Ash Gold in one of the top of the table clashes in the opening fixture of the 2015-2016 Ghana Premier League. Already, the battle lines have been drawn following Media MIC's 1-0 victory over the Miners at the Accra Sports Stadium a couple of weeks ago. The CEO of Media FC, Mr. James Silfi, has served a note of caution for Ghana's sole contender at this year's CAF Champions League competition, Ash Gold. Mr. Silfi says it's nothing but the 3 points at stake.
This time around, Media before, we always fall on the first 4. Unlike last season where we fall around 12, this time around we want to go back to where Media belonged to. We want to be among the top 4 and probably win the league.
Touching on the launch of the Premier League, Mr. Silfi said it was timely.
This will even go a long way to help the boys because it will give us enough preparation. Because once the league is not starting, we don't have competitive match to play. But with Africa, you need to play enough matches, competitive matches, so that it can push the boys well towards the campaign.
The stakes are high as pundits predict a tense duel. A win for either side will not only boost the team's morale and give them the bragging right, but also indicate their readiness for their respective campaigns in the CAF interclub competitions. The launch of the 2015-2016 Ghana Premier League has been described by some club administrators as very refreshing. Some have already given an indication of what fans should expect. Here's a sample of views from some CEOs.
The launch of the league, this is new. It's very exciting. We are hoping that the commencement on Sunday will be good for all the clubs. We are playing Adriana. We are hoping that we will exhibit quality on the day and win. Our target is to finish among the top 4 best clubs in the league, and we have the quality to do that.
We have moved to Accra to make sure that at least we look at other strategies that we have and see how it will work. We know that Inter-Allies are very formidable when it comes to their home matches, so we're not taking chances at all. And everything is being done to make sure that the boys will be in shape before Sunday.
We are prepared for the league. Don't be surprised if we win all our home matches and pick some away points on top of, how do we call it, our home games.
We are prepared, and then luckily we are also starting the league for the season. So all attention is to Sugakope for now. We've played them before. It's not our first time. We are going to score them. We've scored them before. It's not only it's only today.
The first action in the 2015-2016 Ghana Premier League kicks off this Saturday and Sunday. Here are the fixtures. At the Accra Sports Stadium, Ahas of Folk will welcome New Edubiasen. At Cape Coast, Mysterious Ebusian Dwarfs then tackles Dreams FC. Bechem United then battles Liberty Professionals. At the Tema Park, Inter-Allies will welcome Adriana Stars. At the Wa Park, Wow Stars then lock horns with 2nd D Hazakis. At Techiman City will play host to Brekum Chelsea. At Sugakope, Wafa then takes on Asante Kotoko. Obuasi Enclave Stadium will host the game between Ash Gold and Midiama SC. Let's bring you some updates from last night's UEFA Champions League as Cristiano Ronaldo just scored to give Real Madrid a comfortable 2-0 win.
In the arts segment, dancehall artist I1 is back from hibernation. I1 has called on the organizers of the Ghana Music Awards to treat the genre dancehall fairly and equally as they treat other genres.
Religion makes me a free man. My religion no make me no prisoner. My religion is the key.
Miami-based soul and R&B singer-songwriter Bessie Regina Norris was popular in the 1970s with hit songs such as Clean Up Woman and Tonight is the Night. A pioneering singer-songwriter and entrepreneur, she remains one of the few black female musicians to produce a gold record on her own Vanity label. Our spotlight today is on Bessie Regina Norris, also known as Betty Wright. Well, that's it for News Hour. We'll take a look again at the headlines. So far, 61 people have been confirmed dead in the accident at Kintampo, which occurred on Wednesday night, involving a cargo truck and a Metro Mass transit bus. The injured persons are on admission at hospitals in the Bunahafo and Ashanti regions.
A ferry carrying passengers from Makango to Yeji on Wednesday went down in the Volta Lake. Sources say a nearby naval team received a distress message and went to the rescue.
And President Yoweri Museveni says social media has been blocked in Uganda on the day of presidential elections to stop people telling lies. Mr. Museveni, 71, is seeking to extend his 30-year rule in a race widely seen as the tightest in the East African country's history.
And that's it for news. For now, we'll be back at 10:30 with news.
My name is Ofuri Wada.